I just think my family has set me up so well, you know what I mean? Like, it's not in the sense of that they'll just do anything I ask or anything like that. Heck no. But they definitely are right behind me, pushing me to get where I want to go. You know what I mean? And they, like with my dad having his concrete company, that was so helpful for me, especially during like COVID and stuff. Trying to get, like, I was able to work with my own schedule with my pops and my brothers, and then be able to go train. You know what I mean? Like, hey dad, I know we gotta do this, but I gotta go train. He'd be like, okay, yeah, I'll see you later. You know, it's my dad. You know what I mean? So I'm just so grateful for them and everything, especially my brothers, man. My brothers are so like rugby freaks in the sense they're just like nerds when it comes to it. So I personally believe I got the best critics in the world. I hate my critics in that sense, but I also believe I got the best critics in the world because they'll be honest with me. They're not gonna lie to me. You know what I mean? Like, if I played really bad, they're gonna tell me I played really bad.
They're gonna come after you.
Exactly. But I need that. You know what I mean? I like to hear that. I like to get better, so I want to hear that. So yeah, no, just I'm grateful for my family and everything they've done for me, and of course my fiance. You know, I couldn't be happier. I couldn't put into words how excited I am to marry her. And
What's up, slackers? Welcome to Late for Practice Podcast. I'm your host, Will, and today we have a very special guest, Tomasi Tonga.
What's happening?
Tomasi, how you been, man?
Good. He's doing good. You know, just getting through the off season. You know, just living.
What does your guys' off season look like?
Honestly, it's like over here. There's the Crossroads Cup in the fall. So I mean, those are nice little games to just get going in and stuff like that. You know, just gotta get warm again for preseason and stuff like that, and then in December, we usually have like just conditioning blocks to just make sure we're coming into camp as in shape as possible, I guess you could say. So yeah, that's pretty much about it though. Nothing too crazy.
Tomasi is he's been a starter for the Warriors over the past 2 seasons. He has played over 300 minutes with them in that time, and also he's a homegrown kid here right from Harriman, right where the stadium's at.
I love it here. It's my home, man. It's crazy playing games here and stuff. Just because it's like, I mean, I went to high school probably like 10 minutes away, so it's pretty insane.
You have 3 tries over your course of your history with the Warriors. 2 of them came last year, and then 1 the year before. I think the first one was against the Austin Gilgronis.
Yep, my first one was against Austin.
And the second one, or the second or third one, actually put the Warriors up in the rankings to go into the playoffs.
Yeah, no, that one was a really cool one. That was just this past year.
Yeah. Which one was more important to you, do you think?
Honestly, it was my second try, and when we played Dallas, and that was like my first start at home. Okay. And then I scored, and that was like the first time I scored in front of like my friends and family just here in Harriman. So that was probably the one that like meant the most.
Like, it sticks with you.
Yeah, because it's pretty cool. So
I don't know, man. That try against Atlanta, that was a crazy try.
That one was fun. That was probably the funnest try I had, just because it was a longer one. Yeah. But no, that one was definitely cool. That was the diving craziness. Just put it in the try zone. Oh yeah, and it felt good because I did it on Nile. Yeah.
So you talked about the Crossroads Cup. I love the idea of the Crossroads Cup. Explain it to people that may not know or may have never seen it at all, what the Crossroads Cup actually is. Yeah,
so all it is just like 4 teams in different parts of Utah, like the geographical areas and stuff. And there's just 4 teams that just compete throughout like a span of, I think it's 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks of just games, and then pretty much from there it's like where you can earn your opportunity to get onto the selects and then just catch an eye from one of the coaches and stuff like that. It's just an opportunity to get looked at, which I think a lot of people have been taking advantage of. Like, I'm pretty sure this past year we signed a few guys from the Crossroads Cup, so yeah, no, it's pretty awesome.
What does it mean to you to be playing here at home, in front of your family, in front of your friends? Like, how does that make it so much more special?
It just means a lot more, you know, because it's just like, you're really like when Coops would always talk to us about playing at home. He would always say protect the fortress, and like you kind of just feel that more in a sense of, because like this is genuinely your home, you know what I mean? Like this is where I grew up, and this is where I really started excelling in rugby when I was younger. So I think it just adds a little bit more juice, especially when we come out of the tunnel for home games and stuff. Just because I know for a fact that, you know, my brothers are in the stands watching everything I'm doing. My dad's doing the same thing. My mom's doing the same thing. Just all my friends are doing the same thing. So it's just everything's a little bit more amplified, I feel like, when we're playing at home.
When did you receive your first, like, welcome to the MLR moment?
Oh, I would have to say when my first year when we played in the Coliseum against LA. That was crazy because that was like the first time I ever went against Billy Meeks. And he's a pretty successful 12 in the MLR, I would say. And he was like, I'm pretty sure he won back of the year before, and like I was so amped because I think it was my second start, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm playing like a guy. So I was really excited, and then the game's going on and stuff like that, and then he just like gets a crash line, and like I hit him, I hold him, and I'm like, oh, I got him, and I'm like a few meters in front of the try line, so I'm like, oh, I got him, we're good, and then all of a sudden he just like shimmied his way out and he scored, and I'm like, how? And then I watch it back on film, and I'm like, dude, this is some different type of strength, you know, and like the MLR being able to move your body in contact, stuff like that. So that definitely like made me like realize, I'm like, okay, there's a lot more to this level than just like being strong and fast. You know, there's like little tricks and stuff like that that you gotta learn, and you gotta be able to hold down unless you can get embarrassed. Because then he scored on me, so after that, it's like, all right, I can't let this happen again. So I think that was like the first time. I mean, there's a few times there's guys in the league that make you like, okay, come on now, you gotta like turn it on a little bit more for. But I mean, that was probably like the first moment that I was like, all right, I gotta step it up a little bit.
There's more to this than I thought.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's like the biggest thing I learned in like playing is like, I thought rugby was like, I knew it was like a strategic game, especially 15s and stuff like that, but then there's like just like little things that go such a long way in this game, especially at the level we're playing at.
Can you give me an example of like one of these little things that like just elevates somebody's game to be just that much better?
Oh yeah, I think the biggest one, it's just work in contact. Does that make sense? Like, it's not the prettiest thing, not a lot of people see it, but it also just makes the speed of ball out of the ruck so much cleaner. Because you want that speed when you're on offense, you know what I mean? So, like, if there's like specific ways you can hit somebody and then turn your body right when you know you're about to go down and stuff like that. For me, I see that in like a lot of like the top of the top level guys. It's like the littlest details like that just makes their team so much better because they're moving the ball so fast.
With everything that you've kind of seen and done, what has been like the pinnacle? Rugby's my choice. I gotta go with rugby. When did that happen for you?
Oh, I think it happened early. Like when I was I was pretty successful in high school, so I was trying to figure out, because there wasn't like a professional league. The MLR wasn't around when I was in high school, so it wasn't really like in the cards. I mean, I wanted to play for the Eagles and play on the USA team and stuff like that, but it just didn't really seem realistic. So I'd probably say like right when I got home from my mission in 2018, where I was like, yeah. I think I watched one of the rugby games like right when I got home on like YouTube or something, and I was like, oh, this is awesome, I want to do this. And then just kind of worked my way up, and then here we are.
What like lessons from Coach Cooper have you taken from last season that you're going to try and apply to this season?
He's like so calm, but then like so intense at the same time. It's like kind of funny. But the biggest thing I probably can like continue to carry from him is probably just like reminding myself to do all the little things right. Because if I do all the little things right, then it's going to show up on the big things, you know. And the biggest thing too is just be in shape, be fit. You know, you can't, like, if you want to be successful in rugby, you can't get around it. You got to be fit. So if you're not one of the fittest players on the field, you're not going to be one of the best players on the field. So I think just continuing to make sure that my body is ready and just ready to go for 2024.
That is a huge component. So I've been trying to study more rugby and coaching techniques and stuff like that. And like every book that I've picked up, like that's the very first point that they always put on players is like, you know,
it's for sure.
Fitness is twice as important as your scheme.
I think fitness is the most important aspect. Even though, which is kind of funny that I say that, is because something like in high school, Harriman, that like the team I played for, we were like notoriously known for being like stupid fit. Like the amount of hills and the amount of running that our high school coach would have us do, it was crazy. So I think just carrying that into professional rugby now has been pretty awesome.
2024 season just announced. What games are you most excited about? What matches do you want to see, and who do you want to see on the pitch the most?
Ooh, it's a loaded question, my friend.
It is a loaded question.
Just kidding.
Don't be giving no billboard material out.
No, I mean, I'm excited for LA. I mean, that's week 1. That's just what I'm excited for the most, is just getting into week 1 with a good start. I mean, I'm thinking the past 2 years we started off 0-1, so I think making sure that we're going into preseason being 1-0, and that's not even just focusing on LA, like focusing on the week itself, is being like winning that week in a sense is like probably the most important thing we do. So I mean, matchup wise, I'm not really like there's not like a game that I'm like circling, you know what I mean? Maybe San Diego. I haven't been able to have the chance to win against San Diego yet, so probably San Diego, just because I know that they're a high quality squad too. Hopefully Malinonu comes back for another year. I'd love to face him, just because, you know, it's a legend of the game. So going against him would be so awesome.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't really have like a specific game in mind or anything like that. But just I know for a fact the most important game to me right now is LA. That first one.
What advice would you give to that kid graduating from high school right now, looking to get in the MLR, wants to know how to like do the pathway program? I mean, you're one of these sponsors for the pathway program. Like, what would you give advice for somebody like that?
I think the biggest thing is if you want to do it, just do it. Like, you gotta, it's not easy playing in America. That's just the bottom line. Like, you're gonna have to like do everything yourself pretty much. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of people, unless you're going to like these big colleges like Cal, Life, like BYU, or just like these bigger rugby colleges, Lindenwood. So if you're not getting into one, I would just say you just gotta do it yourself. You gotta put your boots on and just go to work. You gotta get into the crossroads. You gotta get on to some local team, some men's team, or in anything. Because like, I think the biggest problem right now is a lot of kids are like, oh, I mean, I'm gonna hopefully just wait for the opportunity, or the opportunity is kind of just gonna come to me. You know what I mean? Just playing in these random leagues or random games or whatever it could be. So I think just making sure that you're just doing it, like you're doing it. You're not waiting for anything. You're going out there and just putting in the work and getting it done. So I think that will honestly get you above and beyond where you want to go if you just put your boots on and just get to work, you know? So, and I honestly believe we have the talent in Utah to do amazing things in the MLR, like especially from the Pathways program. Like, I'm pretty sure, we think, me, Khaleesi, Zach, there's 4 guys that I played high school rugby with, you know what I mean?
Really? That
are going to be on the team this year. So I think it's perfectly, this is like the best opportunity for anyone in Utah that wants to play, like, because I think Utah is the best at finding local guys, and I think that's a priority of theirs, and I think I'm really grateful for them, because I mean, a lot of these other teams in the MLR definitely shop internationally for most spots on their game day rosters. So I'm just grateful for Utah for giving me, and then also all the other kids coming up, an opportunity.
With all the new signings, all the new like releasings, all that kind of stuff that has changed with the Utah Warriors, what excites you the most? Who excites you to play with the most? Who are you ready to see back out wearing the Warrior jersey with you?
Man, you can drop some bombs on me. I mean, I'm just excited to see a lot of the boys. I mean, you hear a lot of things about new signings and stuff. I mean, you're all hoping that it's true and stuff like that, and I bet you it is. I mean, I know that Wayne and Coops and Kimbo and all those guys, they know what they're doing. You know what I mean? That's not my job to go find the talent. They do it, and they do a great job. I do believe that we actually have had one of the most talented teams last year, and I think we're just going to be even more talented this year.
Who are you most excited to see in the kit with you?
Ooh, there's a lot of people. To be honest, I'm most excited to strap up with my Harriman boys. Like, the boys, like, those are the guys I grew up with. You know what I mean? I played with Zach, his name's Zach Barker, and Khaleesi, like literally my whole high school career. So like, I think that's gonna be kind of a cool full circle moment. You know, being professionals now, we're playing together here. So I think that's what I'm probably most excited for, and also Sinamai, just playing with him is gonna be just because I think me and him we're like darn near best friends, like our group, like best friend group. You know what I mean? So. I'm just excited to strap up with those guys, and that's no disrespect to all the other boys. I can't wait to play with them as well. But I think it's just going to mean a little bit something when we run out to the field together.
What do you think that like North America's specific rugby flavor is, or what would you want to see more in North Americans like rugby traditions, rugby culture?
Ooh, culture. I don't know. I think the best thing about American rugby is that it's kind of just a mold of everything. There's different types of rugby that are played out in Cali, out here in Utah, and then all the way out in the East Coast. So it's all different types of. But I think the culture all kind of remains the same around the world. When you watch, like, you see the videos and you see things like that, I feel like culture-wise, rugby is just a rugby culture thing. You know what I mean? Not necessarily. I don't think there's like a New Zealand rugby culture and then a European rugby culture. You know what I mean? I think playing styles are very different in different parts of the world, but I definitely think the rugby culture itself is just a universal thing.
Something that I've noticed about rugby culture just in general is that like it is the most welcoming like group of people that you can really experience.
Yeah.
And the coolest thing about that like welcoming group of people is that it doesn't matter what you're doing, if you play the Northern Hemisphere style, Southern Hemisphere style, everybody just loves the fact that you're playing together. And from going in the stands and like people being like, where have you been? We've missed you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there is all of that combined into it, and then for the players to be the type of people that they are is just amazing. And I have so many stories about that, but it's always intense to me when I go to take my kids to go meet a player, and the first thing that they do is not shake my hand or shake his hand, but that player actually got down on his knees to tie my son's shoes while he was in his cleats.
I guess it was Lance?
No, it wasn't Lance. That's a good guess though, but it wasn't Lance. But yeah, like
that's the culture of it.
That kind of style, that kind of culture from a professional sports organization is just not heard of, and it's amazing to me that we can experience that here in North America now.
Yeah, for sure. And then I also think the leaders of like a little bit of the older boys on the Warriors, that's like instilled in us is like, because we have our 4 pillars and community is one of them. So I think like that's always been something that's been harped on, is making sure that the community knows that we're as grateful to them as much as they like coming to the games.
Toronto, New York, we got to talk about it. They drop out. There's all sorts of problems with that.
Yeah, it's tough. That's really tough.
Yeah. I mean, you still work a night job, man.
I do, yeah.
Like, people all over this league are working double jobs so they can, keep chasing a dream. What are your thoughts? I mean, obviously our hearts go out to those players that have to adjust their lives wildly.
Yeah, for sure. Like, that sucks. Like, if that happened to us, I would be pissed. I'd be like, well, damn it, that's it. You know what I mean? So, like, of course, like, especially coming from, I think, from my perspective, I just feel so bad for the players. Especially, like, the local guys, too, that aren't, like, in a sense, big-name internationals. I feel bad for those guys specifically, just for the fact of, like, it's going to be so much harder for them to relocate. Because you know that they're set up good, you know what I mean? Like, in the sense that they're able to set themselves up to perform on Saturdays. You know what I mean? Because they have a stable job in a way, and then they have like a set schedule in a way they can train and stuff like that. So I think thinking about like the domestic guys out in New York or in Toronto, it sucks. That's just the best way to put it. And like, I think people are a little, personally, I hope people don't come from it. I think people are a little hard on the league. I mean, what do I mean, 7 years? How old is Neymar? 7?
Yeah, 7 years. Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know did people expect it to just turn into the NFL like tomorrow? You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to take shots at anyone or anything like that. I'm just saying that, like, I think everyone in the whole league wants it to succeed. I don't think anyone in the league is like, you know what, I hope Toronto can't play in 2024. You know what I mean? I don't think anyone's like thinking that at all. But I do think that, in a sense, that there's a lot of learning curves in a lot of ways. And I think Toronto will be back in the future. I think New York will be back in the future sometime. I mean, those are two pretty good rugby places to play. So, I mean, as of like right now, it sucks, but I do think there's brighter days coming for those clubs.
I'm sure that New York will be back.
Yeah.
That's just kind of like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It might be harder for Toronto just because I don't think that many people understand the increased taxing situation.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, that's with playing in Canada. What do you think about like Mexico coming into the league in 2025?
Oh, that's real.
That might be real.
That's real. I thought that was just like a
thing.
People have posted that there's gonna be a rugby team everywhere. I saw that there was gonna be a team in Hawaii. So like, it's kind of hard to, you know. But I mean, shoot, I'll go play in Mexico.
I've seen multiple reports.
I wouldn't trip about it. I would be like down to go play out in Mexico.
I think it'll be hard depending on where it's located.
Oh, for sure.
If it's in Mexico City, like that will be so difficult.
Oh, I bet. But I mean, I'm not gonna. If someone asked me, like, "Hey, do you want to go play a professional rugby game in Mexico?" I would be like, "All right, bet, let's do it." I mean, that'd be just cool. I mean, I'd hope like the logistics are right. I'm gonna be honest. I've never even been to Mexico before in my life, so I don't even know where the games would be. But have they even talked about like where it'd even be at?
So the report that I saw said they didn't have a place or location,
okay.
But what is happening is that this ownership group with the Houston Sabercats are trying to create an ownership group to where they would have two teams that would play in two separate leagues. So one would play in the MLR and the other team would play in the Super Rugby Americas with like the American Raptors and what they do.
Oh, okay. I see what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I don't know that this is going to happen. This is just rumors at this point, but it's an interesting rumor. I also see it being the same kind of problem that Toronto has.
For sure.
Like extra taxes,
I'm pretty
passports.
sure Toronto during it was like a year. I'm pretty sure they had like no home games one year
during COVID.
Yeah, they had like no home games.
Not COVID, after COVID.
Yeah, they traveled the whole year, full 17 or 16 weeks, whatever it was, and like that just sounds terrible. Yeah. Like that sounds horrendous. Yeah. So I mean, maybe it'll be a good opportunity for Toronto to kind of, I guess, reshape. Maybe, I don't know. I do think there's brighter days ahead for the MLR. So I think sometimes you need to step backwards and go forward.
Is there anything that like you never get to talk about that you want to be like, why does nobody ask me about this one thing, or I love this one thing?
I do think Utah definitely has the best high school rugby in the country. You can add me on that.
Ooh. Okay. Bold statement,
yeah.
Man. Bold statement.
Well, I mean, there's just so many athletes on our team that are just from Utah.
Yeah.
That like you can't tell. Like I don't know another team in the MLR that can say a lot of their guys played high school rugby here.
Or high school rugby in like a specific state.
Yeah, for their team. Yeah, for their team. I mean, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but as of my knowledge right now, we're up. So
you took such an unconventional path, just going straight into the pathway versus not going to college. Do you think that that's the future of like, or do you not? Or how do you feel about like the collegiate draft, all that kind of stuff that's coming from the MLR? Would you rather see more people get picked up from clubs and from high school like clubs, or would you rather see more colleges have those guys?
Yeah, I think it's to each their own. I think there's some guys that benefit from college rugby, but then I also think that there's some guys that don't necessarily. It's not the specific pathway for them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, just taking like the school side out of it, just purely rugby itself in college. I think college rugby is great. I love it. I think it's fun to watch. But I do think that into the pathways, it definitely gives you a little bit more insight of what it's like being in the MLR, if that makes sense. Because I hear a lot about college guys going into the draft, getting drafted, and then they get into the MLR, and then they're playing with some team, and they're just like, I don't even know what's really going on. I got to get a full-time job now, too. I got to do this. I got to do that. So I think pathways, in a sense, it kind of sets you up in a way of being used to that lifestyle, because you work all day, and then you go to select practice, and then you got to work all week, and then you got to ball out on Saturday. Like, that's that's just the layout that you want to have, that you have to have if you want to play in the MLR, you know, if you're going through the pathway system. But in college, I mean, you may have a full-time job and have classes, but it's a little bit different, I personally would say, just in the sense of the physical toll. You're just gonna learn so much quicker because you're gonna be seeing that stuff every day and all the time. Does that make sense?
Yeah. With doing a selects program or an academy program that maybe somebody else has, or you're only speaking to your experience, but like with having somebody else there and seeing the professional level and knowing what it takes to get in the professional level, it provides a not an easier pathway, but a pathway for you to take experience and to apply it to yourself more. I
think that, because that's why I feel like I've been able to get a lot of game time and be able to do things in the MLR, is because of the fact of that I've been right under the guys that, you know, like I've learned from Paul for 2 years now, you know what I mean? And then even when I was on the selects, there was still the senior guys coming around and coming to practice and stuff and walking us through things and giving you like tips and tricks about how you can do this, how you can do that. So I think for me personally, if I didn't have like Calvin and Tyler and all those guys in the center room to help me kind of just learn, you know, I don't think I know as much as I do now, or be able to do the things that I'll be able to do this year. You know? So I do, but at the same time though, I do think in college you do get I think a better experience than an academy experience, in the sense of playing. Like you get to play for national titles, conference titles, and stuff like that. I mean, who doesn't like winning trophies? So I can see, like, I wouldn't knock anyone for going to college, but I do think it's just to each their own scenario. Yeah,
each place has its pros and cons that you get to approach.
Yeah,
that's
sure.
That's interesting, man. No, I do feel like there's gonna be. It might be an interesting conversation to have once college rugby has gotten to the point to where the draft is like a big deal, a big issue, where like that's going to be a harder conversation to have. But right now, I think that club is an undervalued approach that a lot of teams should take more advantage of.
I think so. I personally, I'm gonna give you all a hot take.
Let's hear the hot take.
For years, been saying this for years. Men's league, those dudes hit harder than people in the MLR.
That is a hot take.
I'm just telling you, if you are trying to hit a Polynesian man that's been pouring concrete all day, you're gonna feel it. Like, I'm not saying that people in the MLR hit soft. I'm just saying when you hit that, you hit your uncle. When you hit someone's uncle on a Saturday afternoon when he just finished pouring, like, and these guys aren't these guys aren't bad athletes either. You know what I mean? So I've been telling a lot. I tell people that all the time, and I think it's a good thing. That's a good thing for me, because when I know I'm going against those guys, I know when it comes time for the season. Of course, there's a lot more that comes to it when you're going against some forwards in the MLR, but I know for a fact that the physical toll I took this fall from Crossroads is just going to be equivalent or even more to I'm going to feel that stuff harder than I'm going to feel the stuff in the MLR season. And it's no disrespect, I'm just saying that's how I feel, because I've gotten hit by people in the MLR and the men's league in Utah, and that's my take.
You also played sevens for a little bit as well, right?
I mean, where did you see that?
Yeah, I saw some highlights of you playing seven. What was that experience like?
Dude, it was awesome. That was probably one of my favorite moments my senior year of rugby, just because I've been playing with those guys ever since middle school, you know, and then we finally were able to win a state championship and stuff like that. But that's like the best part about, I guess, like high school sports is winning trophies with your friends, you know what I mean?
Your boys.
Yeah, like you grow up with these guys and then you just get to win together. That's like the most ideal situation, especially in sports. So yeah, no, it's amazing. It was fun. I don't think I'll ever make a stint in sevens. I'm just not that guy. I like sevens. I will do it for fun, like a touch setting. But if you're asking me to play in a seven, someone was like, hey, do you want to play in a sevens tournament? Probably gonna have to go to work or something on that weekend, because I'm not the guy that has to play sevens. I love tennis and pickleball. If anyone wants to run it in pickleball, Paulisike, run it. Paulisike, I'll play in pickleball.
didn't know Policy played pickleball.
I don't know if he does. I'm pretty sure I saw him on Instagram. He was going with his kids or something.
I know Fetz Viacolo.
No, he sucks. I seen him play. It's so bad. His knees don't work as much anymore. So, yeah. He tells a lot of people that he's really good, but he was telling me the other day that he just says that for fun. He really doesn't even like playing it that much either.
So when I finally get Fetz on, I have to like go to a pickleball court and we'll set up a camera.
Yeah, you have to, because he'll tell you how good he is, but then when you get on the court, he's gonna be like, no, I don't want to play.
That's too funny.
I'm just kidding.
Man.
Fetz has actually been a big part of my, my rugby journey and stuff, because he's coached me in my men's league and stuff.
I've wanted to have him on.
Dude, you should. People in Utah need to take more advantage of. There are so many guys here in Utah that have played at the highest of high levels in rugby. Like, Fetz has played all over the world, and no one really talks to him about it. In the sense of, so how was this? How was that? How was the, you know what I mean? Just trying to hear what it was like, and like hearing about his experiences and what's helped him be successful and stuff like that. So I think, but like there's Fetz, there's Robbie, there's Sean Davies. You know, he's still here in Utah, like, and he's played in the World Cup. Like, that's you playing. I personally, you playing World Cup, you have knowledge of rugby past most people in the world, because that's just a different. You're playing against a different type of teams out there.
Top.
Yeah, that's like the top of top teams. Yeah. You know, so, and it doesn't even matter if you win or not.
Yeah.
I don't genuinely, like, I mean, if you make it to the World Cup, I mean, you want to win. Of course, that's the goal, is to win a World Cup. But like, just being there in the sense of the experience you gain from it is top shelf. Like, that's just some of the best knowledge.
What are you excited most about this year, about yourself? Like, what are you planning to take on to the field that's gonna just make you just rise to the next occasion?
Oof. I mean, the biggest thing for me this year, like I talked about earlier, is just like being the fittest one on the field. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not necessarily saying I am, but I am saying that I've been making sure that I've been doing my work off the field this off season to make sure that I'm ready to, like, week one of preseason, that I'm ready to just go. You know, I think years in the past, that like last year and the year before, I came into camp just not necessarily where my body needed to be in the sense of fitness or strength or speed or whatever it may be, you know. But I think just with and I think that has to do with, in a sense, my maturity levels of learning from the guys. So I think just this year, I'm just excited to kind of just put everything together, kind of just like just everything in the sense of how I play. You know, I think my how physical I'll be with running the ball, how physical I'll be when I'm tackling, and things like that, I think is just going to be another step up from last year. And that's all I'm really trying to be, is I just want to be better than I was last year. You know, I just want to keep getting better, and that's in the sense of every week and like every day. That's like the biggest thing I've kind of pushed myself to do this off season, is be better than I was yesterday. So I think this year is going to definitely be a very fun year for the Utah Warriors, just in the sense of the play style that we're going to want to play. I think it's going to be a lot more faster, and it's just going to be the exact kind of rugby that our fans want to watch. So I definitely think if you want to watch some fun, exciting rugby, come to a game this year, and you'll not be disappointed. I can promise you that. Awesome. So yeah, but yeah, no, I'm excited. It's gonna be fun, and like a lot of new faces coming in.
There's a lot of new faces coming in, which is exciting, and then also disappointing, because we got to see some of the guys go.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
You know.
Yeah, that's something I learned pretty quick, because just like through the past 2 years of, like, the first year losing Pitts halfway through the season, and then having to go through the off season losing a bunch of key guys that I learned from my rookie year, like having Mikey Taylor there my first year, learning from him, you know, creating a relationship, and then him going to just like that's like a big thing that I've learned, is that there's a lot of things that a lot of these older guys can offer before they leave. You know what I mean? Not in the sense of like using them, but in the sense of just absorbing as much as you can, because there's so much wisdom in the American rugby, like all the American rugby guys. You know what I mean? So yeah, just trying to absorb that from those guys.
Do you feel like you're part of a new guard of warriors coming in that like the team's kind of not built around you, but you're
definitely not built around me. That's for sure.
But you're gonna be like a component in that like new kind of the new guard of what's gonna be the future of the Warriors.
I mean, I would like to think so. You know what I mean? Like in the sense of I like to think that there's a new transition period, not in the sense of like players leaving and players coming in sense like that, but maybe more so with the local. That's kind of just me. I want the guys in Utah to get a shot. That's all I want, you know, because they gave me a shot, I think, and I don't think I'm no better than in the sense of all these other people around here. I think everyone should get an opportunity, you know, and I think that's gonna be the thing I'm probably most excited for is to see when, you know, Sonamaha gets his first cap and Khaleesi Mole gets his and Zach Barker gets his, and just to see those guys just do everything that they want to do, because I know they can do it, you know, and I know that the coaching staff in our office know that they can do it too.
I think I'm out of questions for you, dude. I thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. Yeah, hope you all the best for this next season.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, it's gonna be a crazy one, I feel.
Yeah, so, no, it's gonna be a fun one for sure.
Yeah. It'll be exciting to see what Cooper can do with a second year and a little bit more stability, and he now knows you guys a little bit better.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Promise.
Yeah.
Pull up to the games. Y'all ain't gonna be disappointed. It's gonna be a good one, I promise.